All right, beautiful Aries souls, my fiery warriors of the zodiac, I want you to gather close for this one. Take a deep breath and tune into the very core of your being. Have you ever felt it? That sudden electric jolt in your gut when someone enters the room. A primal instinct that screams danger even when their face is decorated with a perfect smile. It's not just a feeling, is it? It's a full-body knowing, a shift in the very air you breathe, a warning from the warrior spirit that lives within you. And let me tell you right now, beautiful soul, that instinct is never, ever wrong. Today, we are going to throw open a door that has been sealed by politeness and social obligation for far too long. Behind this door, a witch is hiding in plain sight, a real person of flesh and blood who is subtly trying to extinguish your magnificent fire. She could be a member of your family, a neighbor you see every day, or even someone you once called a friend. And together, we are going to witness how the universe, how karma itself, is preparing to bring her actions into the light, not through conflict, but through the undeniable power of truth. If this message is already resonating deep within your soul, do me a favor right now. Show the universe you're ready for this truth by tapping that like button, and let me know you're here with me on this journey by typing "My fire will not be dimmed" in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Astrology Unlocked, because this is a journey we must take together. My dear Aries, I need you to hear this with your heart, with that fiery, passionate core that makes you so incredibly special. That gut feeling, that primal instinct you possess is not a coincidence. It is not paranoia. It is a sacred gift, a divine weapon that was forged in the stars and placed in your soul before you ever took your first breath. It is the very essence of your ruling planet, Mars, the planet of action, of survival, of the warrior's unshakable knowing. Have you ever just known something was off? Not because of evidence, not because of logic, but because a raw, unfiltered energy wave hit you, and your inner warrior sounded the alarm. Others might dismiss it as being too aggressive or too quick to judge. But for you, Aries, it is the language of your soul. It's a primal frequency the universe reserves for its pioneers, for the leaders who must sense danger before it ever takes form. In all my years of guiding souls through their cosmic journeys, I have seen one truth stand unshakable. No other sign in the zodiac possesses an instinct as sharp, as immediate, and as action-oriented as Aries. You don't guess, you act on a feeling. You don't ponder, you know in an instant. This isn't born from logic. It is a deep, cellular-level recognition of energy that is either aligned with you or against you. And what touches my heart the most is that even with this incredible internal compass, you are so often misunderstood. I'm sure you've heard the words before, haven't you? Why are you always so intense? You're overreacting. Just calm down. You're being too much. But the truth, my beautiful friend, is that you are not too much. You are simply tuned in to a powerful frequency that makes inauthentic people profoundly uncomfortable. You are picking up on the subtle poison they leak into the atmosphere, things that others who lack your clarity are not yet equipped to see. And because they cannot feel it, they try to invalidate you, to make you doubt your own fire, to push you back into a box that was never meant to contain you. Perhaps you once told a family member, "I don't trust him, his energy feels predatory," or warned a friend, "She smiles, but her intentions are rotten," only to be brushed aside, to be told you were creating drama. And so, eventually, you may have learned to quiet that voice, to second-guess that initial powerful surge of instinct. But Aries, even when you try to silence your inner warrior, the universe never stops listening. And right now, the universe is preparing to validate everything you have ever felt. You see, the brighter your fire burns, the more it illuminates the shadows around you. Your very presence is an act of exposure. When you walk into a room, your raw, unfiltered authenticity immediately reveals who is genuine and who is wearing a mask. Your passion makes those who are living without purpose deeply uneasy. This isn't because you've done anything wrong. It's because you are a living, breathing mirror of truth. And that, my friend, is precisely why this witch has noticed you. She sees your light, your courage, your effortless ability to lead and inspire, and it triggers the deep-seated envy and insecurity within her own bruised soul. I'm not sharing this to frighten you. I am sharing this so you can finally fully understand. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are a powerful warrior of light, living in perfect alignment with your soul's purpose. And that, my dear Aries, is your greatest power. I want you to take a moment and think back. When was the last time your inner alarm bells went off about someone? Was it the way their compliments felt hollow, the strange competitive glint in their eyes when you shared good news? Or was it just a cold, draining feeling you got whenever they were near, as if they were an energetic vampire siphoning your very life force? Share that feeling below. You don't need to name names. Just acknowledging the feeling is a powerful act of self-validation and healing. Your story will be a beacon for another Aries who is feeling lost in the dark, doubting their own incredible power. Aries, some truths are not meant to be spoken. They are meant to be felt with the full force of your being. Some people enter your life with a perfect disguise. They carry the title of aunt, cousin, stepmother, or family friend. They offer warm hugs and sweet words, but their energy tells a different story. Their eyes scan you not with love, but with judgment, with an unspoken message that you are somehow undeserving of the light you naturally carry. This is because your fire doesn't just warm, it also burns away illusions. In astrology, your magnificent Aries energy is ruled by Mars, the planet of raw power, desire, action, and forward momentum. You are here to begin things, to lead the charge, to be unapologetically yourself. But because you are so direct and honest, you often expect the same from others. You see people through the lens of action and truth, which can sometimes blind you to the fact that not everyone operates with your integrity. Some people don't want to join your light. They want to steal it, to control it, or to extinguish it altogether. From a spiritual and karmic perspective, these people, these witches, aren't casting spells with wands and cauldrons. Their magic is far more insidious. They manipulate with passive aggression, they sow seeds of doubt with whispers, and they seek to drain your power through envy. I need to say this with absolute clarity: the witch is not some fairy tale villain. She is the relative who gives you backhanded compliments. She is the neighbor who smiles to your face while gossiping behind your back. She is the person who pretends to support your dreams while secretly hoping you fail. Her jealousy is a subtle poison. It doesn't show up as an open declaration of war. She knows better than to challenge a warrior like you head-on. Instead, it manifests in the little things, the constant, friendly advice that is actually criticism, the way she minimizes your accomplishments, the stories she tells that paint you in a negative light. In the tarot, this energy is often represented by the reversed King of Wands card that signifies a person who is creatively blocked, jealous of another's passion, and uses their power manipulatively to block someone else's success. This person isn't truly powerful. They are reflecting their own profound weakness. And if you are an Aries, your very existence is a threat to them. Not because of anything you've done, but because you remind them of everything they are too afraid to be. Your courage highlights their fear. Your passion highlights their apathy. Your belief in yourself highlights their deep-seated self-doubt. You are a mirror, and they hate the reflection they see. So instead of working on themselves, they choose the easier path. They choose to attack the mirror. From a Buddhist perspective, these individuals aren't inherently evil. They are souls trapped in a lower karmic cycle, guided by the unhealed wounds of fear, jealousy, and scarcity. They truly believe that your light somehow diminishes their own, not understanding the universal truth that light only creates more light. And the most tragic part, they are often unconscious of their own motives. They might even believe they are helping you or keeping you humble, while their soul is acting out of pure envy. When you can grasp this, something profound shifts within you. The burning desire for a confrontation begins to cool, replaced by a sense of pity. It's a tiring, heavy pity, but it is also an awakened one. Because you realize the true price of envying another's light is a life lived forever in the shadows. Have you ever felt this? That someone who you thought was on your team was actually playing against you, a person who cheered for you, but only as long as you weren't doing better than them. The moment you started to truly soar, their support turned into subtle sabotage. If you've ever had that gut-wrenching realization, just write, "I see it now," in the comments. This is a sacred space of recognition. No judgment, only understanding. Myself and countless other Aries warriors are here nodding with you, validating your journey of awakening. You don't have to fight them. You just have to see them for who they are. That clarity is your shield. I remember a client, a brilliant Aries entrepreneur. Her older sister was her biggest cheerleader, always promoting her work. But every time my client was about to land a major deal, her sister would call with a family emergency or plant a seed of doubt that would throw her off her game. It took years for her to see the pattern. Her sister didn't want her to fail. She just couldn't handle her succeeding on a massive scale. That is the spiritual witch. And my dear Aries people, like that, will always face the consequences of their actions. Not because you will punish them, but because the universe operates on a flawless system of energetic justice. Anything that is not born of love will eventually collapse under its own weight. Aries, have you ever thrown your hands up in frustration and screamed at the universe, "Why? Why does this happen when I live with such passion and honesty? I harm no one. I fight for what's right. So why am I the one being targeted?" Perhaps this question has echoed in your mind after a heated argument or a moment of profound betrayal. If you carry that fiery question in your heart, I want you to sit with me for a moment and truly listen. This may not erase the wound, but it will help you understand the cosmic battlefield you are on. It is the law of cause and effect, the universal principle of karma. According to ancient spiritual teachings, no soul can escape the energetic boomerang of their own actions. Karma is not a vengeful god in the sky. It is the universe's most honest mirror. It doesn't seek revenge. It only seeks to balance and to teach. The person who hurt you, who tried to dim your light, might not face a dramatic public downfall. Their life might look perfect on the outside. But Aries, you must understand, the most severe karma is not what happens to a person, but what happens within them. It is the slow decay of their own soul, the isolation, the coldness that seeps into their heart. I have witnessed this time and time again. Those who live by manipulation and envy eventually build a fortress around themselves. But they soon discover they are not keeping others out. They have imprisoned themselves within. They end up with no one they can truly trust because they know they themselves are not trustworthy. Their greatest punishment is that they lose the ability to feel genuine joy. The simple pleasure of a shared success, a sincere moment of connection, a warm, unguarded laugh, these things become foreign to them. Their hearts become a barren wasteland, incapable of growing anything beautiful. And in that moment, your light, the very light they tried to extinguish, becomes their greatest torment. Not because you are shining it in their face, but because your continued existence, your joy, your success, forces them to see the barrenness of their own life. They are forced to learn the ultimate lesson: you cannot steal light. Light can only be generated from within. My dear Aries, you may not have realized it, but your refusal to be defeated, your unwavering ability to rise again and again, is the most powerful and elegant form of justice. It is not revenge, it is cosmic vindication. I know you may have once burned with the desire to confront them, to scream, "Why me? Why do they get to live in peace while I carry this wound?" But my beautiful warrior, your pain is not a punishment. It is your training ground. It is the fire that forges your spirit into unbreakable steel. It is the pressure that transforms your character into a diamond. It is the battle that teaches your soul how to become a masterful general, no longer wasting energy on pointless skirmishes. There is a powerful concept in many spiritual traditions: when someone harms you, they are delivering a karmic lesson to your doorstep. If you react with rage and seek revenge, you become entangled in their low vibrational cycle. But if you choose to rise above, to focus on your own path, you not only break free, but you also accelerate your own soul's evolution. Forgiveness for an Aries is the ultimate power move. It is not forgetting. It is releasing the enemy from the battlefield of your mind, so you can direct your formidable energy toward building your own empire. Forgiveness is you saying, "You are no longer worth my energy. I choose victory over vengeance." Have you ever truly forgiven someone, not for them, but for you? Did it feel like you reclaimed a piece of your power? Tell me below. Your story of choosing power over pettiness could be the spark that ignites another Aries spirit and helps them reclaim their throne. The deepest truth of karma is this: every moment you choose to focus on your own light, you are transforming your destiny. The moment you continue to act with integrity in the face of betrayal is the moment you shine brightest in the eyes of the cosmos. Aries, how many times have you bitten your tongue? Not because you didn't have a fiery comeback, but because you realized the battle wasn't worth your energy. How many times have you walked away from a toxic situation, not out of weakness, but from the profound wisdom that true victory lies in preserving your power? In the world of spiritual healing, we talk about protecting your personal energy. For you, my dear Aries, this isn't about building a wall. It is about forging your energetic armor. It is the delicate, masterful art of how to remain a passionate, open-hearted warrior without letting anyone pillage your spirit. Let's be honest, Aries are not people who shrink from a fight. Your nature is to confront, to challenge, to bring things into the open. But that is exactly why you can be drained by those who fight with whispers and shadows. At some point, you have a profound realization. If you don't learn to choose your battles, you will spend your life fighting on fronts that do not matter, while the true conquest, your own destiny, remains unclaimed. You don't need to become cold or jaded. You simply need to master the art of discernment. There's a vast difference between righteous anger that fuels positive change and the draining rage that keeps you tethered to toxic people. There is a fine line between helping someone who is struggling and being dragged down into their pit of negativity. When you choose your own light, your own mission, your own peace of mind, you are not being selfish. You are being strategic. You are being a wise warrior king or queen who knows that their most precious resource is their own energy. You have every right to decline invitations that feel energetically off. You have every right to end conversations that are draining your spirit. You have every right to say, "This does not serve my mission," without guilt or explanation. That is not selfishness, Aries. That is sovereignty. From a healing perspective, one of the most powerful ways for you to protect yourself is through alchemy. You are a master of turning one form of energy into another. You can transform the poison of anger into the fuel for your most ambitious project. You can transform the pain of betrayal into the determination to build a better life. You can transform a wound into a badge of honor that reminds you of your own resilience. Every time you choose to hit the gym instead of sending an angry text, every time you channel your frustration into a creative breakthrough, every time you decide to focus on your goals instead of their drama, you are performing a powerful act of magic. You are sending a clear and potent message to the one who hurt you and to the universe itself. I will not be destroyed. I will use the stones you throw at me to build my empire. Aries, you do not need to scream to prove you are strong. You just need to keep winning silently and brilliantly. And one day, when they look for you, they will find you are no longer on the same battlefield. Not because you fled, but because you have ascended to a level of reality they cannot even perceive. You won't be carrying resentment. You will be carrying trophies. That is the purest and most powerful protection. You don't attack. You don't demean. You simply withdraw your energy from anything that is not worthy of it and reinvest it in your own greatness. Are you learning to forge your armor? What have you done today to preserve your fire? Did you say no to something that would have drained you? Did you spend an hour working on your passion project? Did you do something that made you feel powerful and alive? Share it below. These acts of self-sovereignty are the steel from which your armor is made. Remember, you don't need to be harsh. You just need to be clear. When your mission is clear, those who support it will rally to your side. Those who seek to undermine it will be scorched by your focus and will retreat on their own. That is the beautiful, impartial law of energy. There is a truth that every fiery soul like you understands instinctively. Aries' secrets cannot survive in the heat of the light. The truth can be buried. It can be twisted by sweet-sounding lies. It can be hidden behind a mask of friendship. But eventually, inevitably, the pressure builds, and the truth doesn't just emerge, it erupts. I want to speak about a card in the tarot that many fear, but that you, Aries, will understand perfectly. It is the Tower. This card symbolizes sudden, explosive, and often chaotic revelation. It is the moment a structure built on lies comes crashing down. This isn't a gentle whisper of intuition. This is a lightning strike of reality. The Tower doesn't warn you of danger. It announces that the truth has arrived, and it is here to demolish everything that is false to make way for what is real. Have you ever felt it coming? That tense stillness in the air right before the storm breaks the feeling that something is about to give way. You are not paranoid, Aries. You are sensing the energetic fractures in the false foundation someone has built. You are connecting with the primal forces of truth and change. Your soul knows when Demolition Day is coming. I once worked with an Aries man whose business partner was subtly embezzling from their company. He had no proof, just a gnawing feeling of being betrayed. Everyone told him he was being suspicious. Then one day, a random tax auditor complete tower moment blew the entire scheme wide open. The truth didn't seep out, it exploded into everyone's reality. That is not a coincidence. That is the universe responding to the unwavering frequency of your demand for truth. In many spiritual paths, there is a concept of right view, seeing things as they truly are. Your fiery Aries spirit is a tool that burns away the fog of illusion to lead you to that right view. When you dare to trust that inner fire, even when no one else sees the smoke, you are aligning yourself with the unstoppable force of truth itself. And the truth, my friend, needs no defense. It only needs an opening. Your job is not to find the proof, not to argue, not to expose anyone. Your only job is to stand in your own power, to keep your own integrity, to continue building your own life. Your light will create the cracks in their facade. The rest is up to the universe. And when it happens, when the truth comes out, when the tower falls, you will see the one who hurt you standing amidst the rubble of their own creation. But a strange thing will happen. The fiery rage you thought you would feel will be replaced by a profound sense of clarity and perhaps even a flicker of compassion. Because you will see them not as a monster, but as a weak and frightened person who had to resort to lies because they could not handle your truth. Have you ever witnessed a tower moment where a hidden truth was suddenly and dramatically revealed, validating everything you had felt? Share that experience. That story of cosmic justice can restore faith in another Aries who is on the verge of giving up, who is starting to believe that the lies might actually win. They need to hear from you. They need to know that what they feel is real and that they are not alone in this fight. Your light Aries, when combined with the explosive power of truth, creates a force of nature. It's not a force of retaliation, it is a force of purification. It is the power for you to be reborn from the ashes of the old reality, now stronger, wiser, and more certain of your own inner compass than ever before. Because you are no longer the wounded soldier. You are the victorious warrior who walked through the fire, kept your integrity, and emerged with a heart that still beats with passion. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. To live well, to thrive, and to do so without bitterness. That is the message the universe is championing for you right now. My dear Aries, you have walked through the fire of betrayal and misunderstanding. It has been a silent, solitary, but incredibly brave journey. You have labored with the full force of your being, you have trusted with the heart of a true pioneer, and you have been wounded. Yet through it all, you have never allowed your fire to be extinguished. And that is what makes you more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Now is your time. It is not the time for revenge. It is the time for your rebirth. And a rebirth for an Aries is the most magnificent spectacle in the cosmos. It is the rising of the phoenix from the ashes, more brilliant, more powerful, and more radiantly alive than ever before. Rebirth doesn't mean changing who you are. It means finally becoming who you were always meant to be. It is the Aries who has learned to wield their sword with wisdom, who knows how to set impenetrable boundaries, who knows how to preserve their sacred fire even when surrounded by darkness. This rebirth is the moment you no longer need anyone else to to validate your reality. You walk forward without resentment, without waiting for an apology that may never come. You know with every cell in your being who you are and what and who is worthy of your precious energy. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding you. You no longer shrink your magnificent fire to make others feel comfortable. You choose to live authentically, powerfully, and freely. You are no longer fighting the darkness. You are simply becoming the light. You choose forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You choose to let go, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know that holding on to hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. My dear Aries, you are no longer the ones searching for the light. You are the light. If you feel this shift happening within you, if you feel the old skin cracking and the powerful wings of the phoenix beginning to stretch, then I congratulate you. This is the moment you are reborn into your true power, your wholeness, and your sovereignty. You don't need to shout to prove your strength. Just keep building your empire, keep living in your truth, and the entire universe will bear witness to your glorious ascent. I would be so honored to hear from you. What part of this message ignited your soul the most? What have you learned from the fire you've walked through? Share your wisdom, your insights, and your story of resilience in the comments below. When we share our stories, we create a sacred fire circle, a space where every Aries can come to be warmed, to be seen, and to be reminded of their own incredible power. And of course, if you have not yet done so, please subscribe to Astrology Unlocked. We have so much more to explore on your magnificent journey. We are here to provide you with the love, support, and cosmic strategy you need to thrive. Remember, my beautiful Aries, you are the creator of your reality. You are the pioneer, the warrior, the leader. You are fully capable of achieving every single one of your wildest, most audacious dreams. Thank you for being here with me today, for allowing me to be a small part of your incredible journey. It has been a true gift to share this space with you. I wish you an abundance of victory, joy, and the unwavering success that is your birthright.